G'day viewers and welcome back to another cracking episode of Blokesworld. This week we find ourselves in Wakefield where we started the first episode of Blokesworld 16 years ago. And why are we here? Well, that didn't go to plan. What they were supposed to say is, welcome to 24 hours of LeMons. And that's exactly what we're doing on tonight's episode, viewers. And if you've never heard of the 24 hours of LeMons, it's basically you have to buy a car that's under $1,000, get it safety approved with a roll cage, etc., and then race it for 24 hours on a track. Just yourself and 5 of your best mates. And that's exactly what Blokesworld's done. So let's start at the beginning. Our good old mate, Mick Height, you might have seen him on the show before. He's got the land speed record on a Harley Davidson on the Salt Flats. Anyway, he found us a killer car. He rang me up and said, boys, I found us a Ford Falcon EF station wagon. And we said, buy it right now. How much is it, Mick? He said, it's $100. So we went over, we checked out this car, and lo and behold, it had a tick fit in it. So we dragged it back to Bardo's shed. Once it was in Bardo's shed, it was left in the hands of freestyle motocross legend Matt Smith and Adam Barton from Impact Roll Cages. And these boys stripped apart the car, put in a new dash, put in a CAMS-approved roll cage, and made it all legal. And thanks to the crew from MSA Motorsport Accessories, we chucked in a racing seats. As well as that, we had a trick steering wheel. We had all the bits and pieces, and we were ready to race. We should mention as well that every car that competes in the 24 Hours of LeMons has to be themed. So our car was themed Motorhead. We called the car Killed by Death, and the 5 drivers were known as Lemmy Through, Lemmy Adam, Lemmy Your Welder, Lemmy the Harley, and Lemmy a Tenor. And so began the Blokesworld 24 Hours of Lemmys. Let's start off right now when we made our way down to Nowra to catch up with Brownie.
Alright, bring you up to speed, viewers. So last night we were wrapping the car in Brownie's garage here, started it up, started first go. So this morning we came outside to load it up onto the trailer, got it to the front of the trailer, and as soon as it got a bit of angle on it, it conked out. That's when the fun started. We were trying to work out if the fuel pump was getting any power to it. Fuel pump was getting no power to it, so we thought it's an ECU problem. Well, Mick thought that because he's the expert. We didn't have any idea. Turned out maybe it wasn't the ECU. Problem was, when we took the fuel pump out, the gasket that seals the tank was cactus. So MacGyver Mick, he got some blue hosing and he has fabricated a seal, a gasket, out of a piece of blue hose, and he's put that in. He's made it super tight though, because we didn't want it to leak. And so it was a bit of a half-hour effort to actually get that fuel pump back in. A bit more MacGyvering, got that in. Went to start it, and fuel pump was working. You beauty. Wasn't actually pumping fuel up to the engine. So another trip down to town to get brand new fuel filter. Put that in. Lost a whole bunch of bits of the engine while we were taking all the other stuff apart, so everything's taken 10 times longer than normally would. New fuel filters, and
Far out, finally! Woo!
I think that's what happened anyway. That's what I saw. There's probably other stuff going on too. Let's go to the track now. Viewers, I'm not sure why, but the old Lemmy Mobile gets to start dead last today.
Well, man, what a great experience that is. And I know we say this all the time, but I think this is the coolest thing we've ever done. I mean, we spend our lives traveling the country and the planet watching people race. And it's just insane because this time we're the racers and putting ourselves in the action. This has been a bucket list moment. And for the fact that a bunch of plebs like us can get our mates together, build a car and then come and race it on a professional track just proves that anyone can do this.
But I must admit, my heart rate was just going through the roof. We arrived here late because we had some car dramas, as you know, and we never had any practice. So when I was on the starting grid, I had no idea where the first turn went, where the second turn was. You know, the funniest thing I must admit about this whole experience was when I was out in that car, man, I was cold trickle. Like, you know, man, I was Russell Ingall. I just thought I was the stuff. Then I've come in and looked at the footage. It looks like I'm delivering pizzas. I can't believe how slow it looks. You're gonna have to speed that up for some credibility, but oh man, just absolutely awesome to be strapped into a chair with a helmet on, surrounded by a roll cage and having comms in your ear in the tower. I mean, you've got all the professional levels of a professional race at a LeMons race. Man, I'm having an absolute ball. Look, you know, you should get to your local track. These things are happening across Australia everywhere, 24 at LeMons. Get your mates together, go buy yourself an old clanger, put a cage in it, get dressed up and come and have some fun, because I tell you what, going and watching other people race, you know, it's ridiculous. And even that, next year, we're going to put a V8 in that car. So next year, we will be the only V8 supercar in Australia. That's worth watching more than anything. Anyway, I'm crapping on because I'm like a 15-year-old girl that's just seen Grinspoon. I'm too excited. I've got to go back into the shed, have a couple and relax. Is that all right? Have I done enough? Can I go?
Righto viewers, don't you go anywhere. We'll be back with more Blokesworld after these messages.
LeMons. This is a cheap way to go out and have some fun on a racetrack. For people that have never done it before, you get a $1,000 car, put some safety equipment in it, go out and find 4 other like-minded maniacs and go out and see if you can keep it going for 24 hours. We did our first event at Wakefield in 2015. And it's exploded. This event is now the biggest of all the events that we've done so far, and each year it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well viewers, I've just had my stint, just come out to the spectator area for a bit of a rest. As you can see, plenty of spectators here for the race. There's a car driving around, Johnny Cash tribute car, and whenever the yellow flag comes out, up goes the radio, Johnny Cash. What a race.
So we had an approach from Sean, the leader, the commander-in-chief of LeMons, to put on this event, and you know, look, it's one of those sort of phone calls that you sort of take one day and you go, oh yeah mate, we want to put on this event for cars that are all worth, and we want to put 50 cars on your track that are all worth $999, and you sort of go, oh yeah, right, no worries. So we sort of absolutely give you the benefit of the doubt, and we put a bit of a plan together, and then essentially it just sort of got born from there. You know, we obviously had to put it to our insurers and see that they were happy to do it and how we could do it, put together a set of regulations.
We kick-started Wakefield with, I think it was 25 cars, and today we've got just one car under 60. So it's a lot of fun. Everyone's having a ball. So every time a team member does something stupid, the penalties get larger and longer.
Tell us what's going on here, what happened?
We've already given him driver lessons earlier today. He's been out in a plastic car and practiced his gear changing, his foot movements, trying to get some coordination to the fella. That didn't work for us, so we're going to strap him into the car and give him a different bird's eye view while he gets pushed around the track and learns how to drive a car somehow.
I promised to drive my car on the track and do it properly. I really promise to do this on the track and stay on the track.
What we're trying to do is teach them to slow down and be a little more respectful of other drivers and be a little bit smarter with their driving skills, if they've got any. So we do everything from make them do children's jigsaw puzzles, glad wrap them to the top of their car, put them in a garbage bin and get them to push the garbage bin, the rest of the team push the garbage bin up and down, and give them a megaphone of the offending driver, and they ask forgiveness from all the other teams. So we've got a list a mile long of messing with their heads.
There is a big range of driving ability here at Wakefield Park this weekend. We have got some learners out there who, again, haven't been to a race circuit before, and this is their first time at a race circuit, and I've had great pleasure in talking to a lot of them this morning. And there are some others here which we know who do a lot of racing with us all the time, particularly at state and national series. So, you know, it's funny to see them in their, you know, little LeMons cars and going out there, and their lap times are a lot slower than what they normally do. So we are literally from beginner to experience and everywhere in between. And that shows obviously with some skill level on the track, and that shows with speed of cars on the track sort of thing as well. But, you know, and that's, I guess, one of the beauties of this event is that, you know, it's like the old tortoise and hare scenario. You don't have to be the fastest car out there. You've got to be the one that finishes on Sunday night, and then you've had a successful weekend. Not be continually being recovered or continually being towed back in and continually trying to fix your car because you're driving it too hard.
Yeah, this is just, this is shits and giggles. Come out here, don't take it too seriously, and get away from the world and all the crap that's in it for 3 days, and bring out 4 or 5 of your mates and have a bit of fun. People need to go and have some more fun, and this is a cheap way to go and have some fun in cars, and there's not many people that don't like cars and don't like driving.
Chaos is gonna be chaos, it's gonna be chaos. You want trouble? Chaos is gonna be chaos, it's gonna be chaos. Yeah, that's what you want.
Oh, check her out. The big Ford Falcon station wagon holding her own here on the track. Or as we like to say, it's Geelong versus the rest of the world. We'll be back with more Blokesworld after these messages. And welcome back to Blokesworld, viewers. Right now it's time to wind back that self-indulgence meter and check out some other people racing. Right now let's head up to CQBBBB and check in with awesome racing family, the Marsons, and a champion fabricator and a top bloke, Justin Renewed. See you in a minute.
You guys did an interview with me. I had my big buggy, my big Class 1 American V8, Ford V8 thing, and I sort of was hoping to bring that this weekend. Had a little bit of a mishap, so it was out of action, and it was perfect timing because I brought this one, and yeah, it's good fun. It's probably just as quick as the other one, to be honest with you. So I haven't had a look at the times yet, but I think it'll be right up there on times. So when it comes to off-road racing in Australia, we've got lots of different classes, and you know, we can start with the UTV classes, which there's plenty of them here, in a non-turbo and an non-turbo aspirated and a turbo class, and then we move on to class 2, 1650cc, and then like my car up to 2.5 litre class, and then we've got a 3.5 litre class, which is called Pro Light. And then we've got the open class, which is like Paul White's car and my V8 buggy, which is up to 6 litre capacity. So in the four-wheel drive classes, we've got production four-wheel drive, we've got extreme four-wheel drive, which is a highly modified four-wheel drive, and then obviously we've got everyone's favourites, the trophy trucks, and up to 6 litre engine capacity in them. So those things vary from, you know, probably $20,000 trophy truck to $400,000 trophy trucks.
G'day, I'm Justin Rennie and this is my DQ Patrol LS1 chop down wagon with a 24 volt winch, 37-inch Treps, and just lives on limiter. I built the truck about 3 years ago. From ground up, brought it from a $250 just wreck, no front diff, no doors, and started chopping and welding bars wherever it looked good.
Unreal. So you do most of the work yourself?
Yeah, pretty much. Anything that I couldn't fab, like we brought, but most of it I'm a sheet metal worker by trade, so CMF sponsored me pretty much and built it in the workshop there for 8 months, and some big nights and big dollars, and we're out here having fun trying to go 3 from 3 at CQBBB.
What would you swap for your truck?
Nothing. The memories I've built with family and friends, and like a mate that's passed, that, you know, that's where we got the sticker on the front, the V8 to 6, so pretty much we do it for him and with all our mates and family, and it's just good. The family we've got from Windstruck Challenges, just, you couldn't ask for anything better. Everyone's there to help you when you break down, and yeah, wouldn't swap anything. It's just come down, just wheel with the family. The missus, she's jumping in now to have a go, and she's enjoying it, so put the wind up her a bit and chuck a couple of mates in later and get them on their edge.
It's important to put the wife in the car and the missus in the car.
Oh, pretty much if they don't like it, they make it hard for you, eh?
Yeah.
You got to find, I'm pretty lucky, I think. She'll be the navvy from now on.
Righto, viewers, right now we're going to commercial break, but before we do, we've got to thank one bloke in particular. Carl, thanks so much, champion.
No worries, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Excellent. Now, Carl works for Mackay Motorcycles, and they supplied us with this cracking Polaris. What would you call this, a ute?
Yeah, it's a Ranger 500 ute, yeah.
Mate, well, this event is so big. We're on so many acres here. I mean, just the travel time from buggies to motocross. You'd be dying if you were walking it. You saved our lives.
Exactly, guys. Exactly, guys. It's the least we can do to fellow Blokesworlds.
Mate, the least we can do is give you a T-shirt. Check it out. There's
awesome,
a brand
guys.
new...
Awesome. I'll wear that with pride, guys.
No worries. Thank you so much.
Cheers, eh?
We'll see you after these messages.
All right, just had my first stint in the Blokesworld car here at Wakefield Park. I was myself at first going out of pit lane. Then I was thinking, I just want the yellow flag to come out so I can have a look at where the track goes. But it was just full on into it straight away. So yeah, got swamped by people going into the first turns, like, fuck, what's going on? There's people everywhere. And then coming out of turn 1, and it's like, all right, I thought I'd try and stay behind someone, but they're going fast. And then, yeah, it took me about sort of like 2 laps to get into it. And then it's like, oh, I think I can maybe outbrake one of them. And then, yeah, can't outbrake them. But got into a bit of a groove after sort of 3 or 4 laps. And it was all in the back end. It feels like a big tank that you're just going to wallow around. And, yeah, it was pretty heavy steer. Oh, the steering's light. But just the whole, you turn, and then it's like the steering's in the back because the back end's out like this. Yeah, sick. It was so good.
The best thing at all was watching Brownie get in the car. I mean, Brownie was he was so nervous. He's had his family here, and his dad's come down, and his 2 young boys have come to watch him race. I mean, it was just absolutely fantastic to see him, you know, get into the actual spirit of it. When he was in the car, he was just giving us the double thumbs ups and doing throws to TV. The guy was just absolutely beaming. When he came out of the car, he was running around the pits.
With my experience on motorsports, I basically had my first race when I was 3.5 years old on a flat track bike, motorbike. Raced right up until I was 18, broke 5 vertebrae in my neck at 18, stopped my racing career, started up my business, Brown's Graphics, and just been doing fun things after the time of that. Organised, you're going to give you another 20 laps for that. So I've done like go-kart sort of thing and golf buggies. That's sort of like my 4-wheel experience. So kind of just, you know, putting along. This is actually on a tar. It's the first time I've actually been in a car with a roll cage, and part of me wants to sell all my bikes and just buy some sick-ass race car and just fucking hook in. So the first thing I noticed with the car was a lot of weight in it. With motorbikes, you kind of look for bumps and ruts, and you look for that kind of stuff on a track to prepare yourself for a corner and that. With the race car, it's just dead flat. You've got nothing to bounce off from that, so kind of finding the spot where to brake on the corner, that was the part that I found hard. And there's a lot of weight there behind it, so then you've got to really use the gearbox to downshift and engine braking. Actually, something that was pretty funny. Coming out of one of the turns, I was honking in second gear. bah, 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 bah. And then went to change into third and went straight into first gear. He's like, "Whoa!" So I was like, oh, put the clutch in and no one's seen that. All right, keep on going. Motorhead to me, I've known 8A for 15 whatever years. And whenever he gave me that idea of what the car was, it's like, that's just 8A Blokesworld down to a T. Like, it's the most professional bogan setup you ever see is Blokesworld. So the boys wanted me to put a bit of a design on the car, wrap it. As it is, I had other work that I had to do, and the boys were driving down, and it's like, hey boys, you want to stop and get something to eat? I'm going to be a bit longer than I anticipated. Oh, what is that? Oh, well, yeah, no, I haven't really printed anything out yet. So yeah, I designed it up and got it stuck on during the night, and we pretty much 2 o'clock in the morning I think we finished. And without Rubbin's racing, I just want to get out there and give it some more and see if I can hunt down some cars and try and if I see one car, I want to try and get past him, try to get past the ones that are just a little bit quicker than me.